Anybody besides the freshman that will.
Call to order City Council meeting for the City of East Grand Forks for Tuesday, May 7th, 2024. The City Clerk, please call roll.
Mayor Steve Gander.
Here.
Council President Mark Olstead.
Here.
Council Vice President Tim Riepel.
Here.
Council Members Clarence Vetter.
Here.
Ben Pukshavinsky.
Here.
Dale Helms.
Here.
Brian Larson.
Here.
Karen Peterson.
Here.
Does term quorum please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Open forum and opportunity for members of the public to address the City Council on items not on the current agenda. Items requiring council action will be deferred to staff, boards, and commissions for research in future council agendas if appropriate. Is anybody here to address the City Council on items not on the current agenda? I see none. Move on to approval of minutes for April 9th work session, April 16th regular meeting, April 23rd work session, and April 23rd special meeting. Moved by Helms.
Second.
Second by Riepel. Questions or discussion? Roll call, please.
Riepel.
Yes.
Helms.
Yes.
Olstead.
Yes.
Larson.
Yes.
Peterson.
Yes.
Vetter.
Yes.
Pukshavinsky.
Yes.
Motion is carried. Scheduled bid lettings, there is none. Move on to scheduled public hearings. Final assessment public hearing for 2023 assessment job number 1 for the street and pedestrian improvements for 5th Avenue Northeast. The motion to open the public hearing.
Move.
Moved by Riepel.
Second.
Second by Larson. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. The public hearing is now open.
Okay. Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Steve Emery. I am the city engineer, and I was actually the project engineer also on this project. So, again, we're here tonight. This is the final assessment hearing for 2023 assessment job number 1, which included street and pedestrian improvements along 5th Avenue Northeast between 15th Street and 20th Street. Just kind of a reminder that you know, no one can formally object or appeal to an assessment unless you have submitted an objection to the city previously, or if you haven't, you would have to file one with the council tonight. And then if you have filed an objection day or an objection within 30 days after the adoption of the assessment rule, a property owner can object to the assessment and may appeal a special assessment to the district court. So just kind of a reminder of that requirement. The project scope, again, this was a urban reconditioning project, you know, not a full replacement project. You know, the project consisted of replacement of broken, deteriorated concrete panels, replacement of settled concrete panels, you know, so we could reestablish kind of the cross slope and the overall drainage of that roadway. Replacement of curb and gutter, you know, which was broke, settled, or heaved. And also, we had a couple driveway replacements over on 5th Avenue Northeast there. And then also included some minor sidewalk work and ADA curb ramp improvements. And then also some catch basin manhole casting replacements. Project funding for this project, again, we are looking at a 30% assessment of the total project cost, with 70% of the total project cost being picked up utilizing, I guess it was a combination of state aid construction funds and state aid or federal sub-target dollar funds. So project cost summary, the final construction cost came in at $731,422.80 with engineering, administration, legal at $107,151.08 for a total project cost of $838,573.88. Again, 30% of that total project cost is being assessed, which equates to $251,572.17. So you can kind of see the difference there, what's not being assessed. So again, 70% of that total project cost is being picked up with state aid or federal funds. The project is assessed based on front and end benefits. What's shown in yellow on the map are basically the properties that are receiving a front end benefit, and then the properties shown in red are the ones that are getting an end benefit, essentially almost like a side street benefit. To determine the assessments, to determine the front assessment rate, we take again that total assessed cost divided by the total front footage plus 1/3 of the end footage. That's how we determine the front assessment rate. And then that end footage assessment rate is basically 1/3 of the front assessment rate. So with that, again, the total assessed project cost was $251,000 roughly. We had about 1,184 feet of accessible front footage and approximately 4,020 feet of accessible end footage. We plug those numbers again into that calculation that I previously showed you, and we come up with a front benefit rate of $99.67. And then the end benefit, again, 1/3 of that front footage, or front footage rate, so $33.22. Let's see your assessments. So they're, filed with the county, paid on an annual basis with your, your county taxes. These are a 20-year assessment at a 5.7% interest rate. Your assessments can be prepared or prepaid before submitting to the county, or paid off early with no penalty. And your first payment would actually be in 2025. So your first payment wouldn't actually start until 2025. So that's really what I had for items. We can open up to any questions you may have.
If anybody wants to address council at this time, please come up, state your name and address, please.
This is on? Yes. Okay. Not that I really care or need one. Thank you very much. My name is Terry Hammerback. I live a half a block away from here, 809 Central Avenue, Northwest East, Grand Forks, of course, for 71 years. Thank you very much. What I have a problem with is I needed to come. I know I'm not going to be able to say anything. I know you're not going to do anything for us. I need to be on record as this is not right. Looking at your map that you had up there, you did not touch a thing on our side of the road. Our road on 5th Avenue Northeast has no driveways, no sidewalks, no chipped gutters, and we just now, in October, finished paying 20th Street. On 20th Street, we just finished paying $27,000 in assessments. Now you're tacking this onto us, and looking at 20th Street, I'm thinking in about maybe 5 years, you're going to have to fix it again, because whoever did it didn't do a very good job, at least in my idea. Of course, you can disagree with me, but then you're going to tack on, let me see, we're at $28,000 now. We're going to end up paying another $28,000 in 4 years. We're going to end up owing you $56,000, which is more than our whole yearly budget. So I know you're not going to do anything. I realize that. I just need to be on record to say this is not right. And I'm just going to throw this out because this is me. I don't know if I've seen anybody out to the Heritage Center taking in our activities. You are our council members. We have a first-rate educational project going on out there, and nobody takes it in. Sorry, Mayor Gander, you definitely do, and of course you do. And thank you for being a judge, but you don't come out and see what we do. We just had 170 ninth graders out there. We just had 800 fourth graders out there. I'm giving tours all summer long, plus I've given tours to people from Sweden, Finland, Norway, Canada, Japan, China, and we're bringing them in. They call me for tours. How many of you even know where we are? Thank you. I've got people, we're going to have our 50th anniversary next year. And we're going to end up owing the city $56,000. So, like I said, I'm calming down. I realize you're not going to do anything and you're just going to keep assessing us. But when you assess us on something that didn't need fixing, I get a little hot under the collar. 20th Street needs fixing. 5th Avenue on our side certainly didn't. But I think I better quit now before I start getting my dander up. So,
Mr. President, is this a payback for the students that raised a ruckus in your class?
yes. Yes, it is.
Obviously, Dale Helm, 613 2nd Avenue Northeast. And the reason Terry and I are both here is because we are both co-president at the Heritage this year. And we're representing that. And honestly, just for a little pun here, I'm glad she's here chewing you out instead of me all the time. But anyway, as she said, 5th Avenue to the Heritage, where the Heritage is sitting and the way it's our access and everything, you could actually close 5th Avenue down and it wouldn't bother us a bit. Not one bit, because we don't use it that much. We have no driveways there. All we have on 5th is a fence that we have to fix about every year because it gets torn down with the snow. Not so much from the city, because the city's been really good, but it's from the apartments and the trailer court pushing all their snow onto us, push it up to the fence, pushes it over. We have to fix that. As she said, we just finished 20th last fall. And the thing is that our budget, we're a nonprofit, we're strictly volunteer. We don't have a lot of money out there, and this is a big strain for the Heritage, and it would be even super super big if they, like she said, they have to end up doing 20th, because that isn't going to be in dire need of some repair pretty soon too. Like you said, we just paid it off, but it's going to need some more, and we just can't afford to keep paying. If we have to pay for 20th and 5th both all at the same time, we'll probably have to end up closing the Heritage because we can't afford it. We don't make a lot of money out there. We're there to, like she said, for education and stuff like that. And so that's the reason that we're here. We know that we're probably a little late to do anything about it. But my question to you, Mr. Emery, would be: Did the Heritage? I didn't see the actual bill, but I know it's like $28,000 or something like that. But did we get assessed for a end benefit or a front benefit?
End benefit.
End benefit all the way.
Yep.
Okay.
It was all end benefit.
Make sure of that, because that's what it would be to us as an end benefit. So I want to make sure of that. But we just want you to understand that as a nonprofit and as a Heritage, we operate. Our budget is so small. So keep that in mind when we come to doing 20th. Because like I said, it probably would break us because we just don't have that kind of money. So, and as far as us to file a complaint tonight with the council, again, we can't do it because we don't have the money to fight it.
No.
So we're just going to have to be stuck paying it. So we just want to be here just so that everybody understood where we're coming from.
I have a question. Who gets the 5.7% interest? Who does that go to? Why? I mean, how much would we pay if we weren't paying 5.7% interest on that loan?
What's the carrying cost on the note? We have to pay. We have to finance it also, so we have to pay interest and then a little fee on top for administration. What's our interest rate on this bond?
So the 5.7% would all come to the city in this case, in this project. It's not being bonded for. It's a small enough project. We're using local funds to pay the what the bond would be up front.
So the city
But
is charging us the
city-
5.7% interest.
The city policy for projects such as this in the past has been to check the market rate for a bond if we had to take a bond. That market rate was 3.7%, and our policy has been to go 2% above that for the administrative costs that Mayor Gander referenced. So that's where the 5.7% comes from for this project.
If I could interject, one benefit of you being here and saying exactly what you've said, you're telling the community of your need, right? That's another really good thing that comes out of this. Anyone who has a heart for the Heritage Center that can cough up 100 or 500 or whatever it could be to offset this would be greatly appreciated.
We do a lot with our memberships. How many of you are members? I mean, membership is $30 a year. And this is a class act, yes.
I think I'm a member.
Yeah, well, member plus a few extras. But it's like,
And of course, we're like everybody else, our membership is down too, so
Sure.
our funds are down, you know.
Yes.
I mean, it's just the way it is. One thing I do have to say that, well, actually, I'm going to say two things. First one being that I'm glad that we were able to fix that road like we did, because I can't imagine what we would have to pay if we'd had to redo the whole thing. It would have been a lot more costly, understand that. The other reason why that the road was in the shape it's in, and we all know, is because of the truck traffic on it. And I don't know what we can do to solve that problem. That road wasn't built for that kind of truck traffic.
well, it should
So-
have been, because they built it back 1,000 years ago
But, so anyway,
in place of Central.
I think that's all we have to say,
Yes.
but just want everybody aware of where we're sitting, so.
He was here to keep me under control.
Oh,
I was ready to set you down, but
Yes,
you did
thank
good.
you.
Okay.
thanks, you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
So just to let you know, because I want you to know that I am listening and I am going to respond. And again, to your point, Dale, you know, or your point, again, you could say that we could take down 20th or 5th and you would never have to drive on that. And that's true. I think we could have that argument with every block in town as we do work. Everyone's going to come back and say that we don't need to drive on the side street, you know. But again, it's the policy, how the city's always handled fronts and ends, you know. So again, that we're trying to stick with the policy, how we've done them in the past. And to your point, we did do work on your side of the street there on 5th Avenue Northeast, because all of those center line panels were replaced for a long stretch there, you know, from 20th going south there. We had to replace the center panels on both sides of the street there. So from the center line over, it was replaced. So there was work done on your side of the street. And it was needed.
It wasn't done on the curb.
It wasn't the curb, right?
Parking.
Our driveways or
Right.
curbs or our sidewalk or
Right.
anything else that we don't have.
Right. And again, we repaired what we had to repair. We didn't take any extra, you know, again, keeping budget in mind. So again,
And
it's a maintenance project. It's for the longevity of the street, you know, because if we didn't do something sooner or later, we're going to have to totally replace it. And I know we've looked at it before. We're talking probably 5 to 6 times the cost for a total reconstruction. So.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else want to address public hearing? I see none. I entertain a motion to close the public hearing. Moved by Repel. Second by Helms. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. Public hearing is now closed. Move on to the consent agenda. Items under the consent agenda will be adopted with one motion. However, council members may request individual items be pulled from the consent agenda for discussion and action if they choose. Anyone want 6 through 8 pulled? If not, entertain a motion 6 through 8. Moved by Helms.
Second.
Second by Larson. Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to just bring to your attention that part of the consent agenda tonight is to appoint a new library board member. The person that has vacated that position was Therese Tiedemann. She was able to do three-year terms at the library, which is the longest amount of time you can commit to the library board. Death took our dear friend Therese this last week. a great library board member, a firecracker. She also served on the Friends of the Library. And so the word replace Therese just didn't work for me, and I wanted to mention that today. We have Brendan Sturmer who will take that vacancy and run with it, but I needed to let the council know how important Therese had been to us.
Thank you, ma'am. Anybody else have any discussion or questions? Roll call, please.
Riepel,
Yes.
Helms,
Yes.
Olsted,
Yes.
Larson,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Vetter,
Yes.
Pakshavinsky.
Yes.
Motion is carried. Acknowledge our receipts of reports of officer boards and commissions. Regular meeting minutes of Water, Light, Power, and Building Commission for April 3rd, 2024, and April 17th, 2024. Communication, there is none. Old business, there is none. We'll move on to new business. Consider adopting Resolution 24-05-37, adopting assessment roll 344 for the 2023 assessment job number 1 for street and pedestrian improvements for a total of $251,572.17. Motion. Moved by Riepel. Second. Second by Vetter. Questions or discussion? Roll call, please.
Riepel,
Yes.
Helms,
Abstain.
Olsted,
Yes.
Larson,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Vetter,
Yes.
Pakshavinsky.
Yes.
Motion is carried. Number 11, consider adopting Resolution 24-05-38, accepting and awarding the 2023 City Project Number 5 for sidewalk and multi-use trail extension to Q3 Contracting for a total of $126,435.35.
Move.
Moved by Larson. Second. Second by Vetter. Questions or discussion? Roll call, please.
Riepel,
Yes.
Helms,
Yes.
Olsted,
Yes.
Larson,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Vetter,
Yes.
Pakshavinsky.
Yes.
Motion is carried. Number 12, consider adopting Resolution 24-05-39, approving agreement number 1056265 between the City of East Grand Forks and the Minnesota Department of Transportation, appointing the department as an agent for the city to accept carbon reduction grant funds. Moved by Riepel.
Second.
Second by Larson. Questions or discussion? Roll call, please.
Riepel,
Yes.
Helms,
Yes.
Olsted,
Yes.
Larson,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Vetter,
Yes.
Pakshavinsky.
Yes.
Motion is carried. Consider adopting Resolution 24-05-40, ordering the improvement and preparation of plans and specifications for the SCADA system, improve the programming work to be completed by IPS, contingent upon a bid being awarded. Is there a motion?
Move.
Moved by Helms,
Second.
second by
I
Larson.
thought somebody did. I'm sorry.
Questions or discussion?
Just out of transparency purposes, I do have a brother-in-law who works for this company, but I will receive no financial gain from it. And I've talked with Mr. Gulstead, and he had indicated that I do not need to abstain from this vote.
Thank you, ma'am. Anybody else have any questions or discussion? A roll call, please.
Riepel,
Yes.
Helms,
Yes.
Olsted,
Yes.
Larson,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Vetter,
Yes.
Pakshavinsky.
Yes.
Motion is carried. Number 14, consider approving the assignment and assumption agreement between the City of East Grand Forks and Cabela's for the city assuming all right, title, and interest in the billboard structure at Sherlock Park. Moved by Riepel. Second by Helms. Questions or discussion? Roll call, please.
Riepel,
Yes.
Helms,
Yes.
Olsted,
Yes.
Larson,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Vetter,
Yes.
Pakshavinsky.
Yes.
Motion is carried. Consider approving the location lease agreement between the City of Grand Forks and Newman Signs for the replacement of new digital billboard in Sherlock Park. Moved by Riepel.
Second.
Second by Helms. Questions or discussion? Roll call, please.
Riepel,
Yes.
Helms,
Yes.
Olsted,
Yes.
Larson,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Vetter,
Yes.
Pakshavinsky.
Yes.
Motion is carried. Number 16, consider approving the renewal of the $100,000 builder incentive program utilizing the funds available in the 280 and 633 funds. Moved by Helms.
Second.
Second by Larson. Questions or discussion? Mr. Vetter.
Thank you. Ms. Anderson, we were going to look at future costs that were going to come into play with the property tax rebates. And I don't think I caught that in the paperwork that was given out.
Yes, Reed and the EDA office are working on that, and I think they came up with an average, kind of what they're looking at every year. Is that correct, Reed?
Yeah, Mr. Vetter, to answer your question, I plan to bring that to the work session next week. I viewed this as a sort of a two-part discussion. The first phase being revitalizing the 3 builder loans that the EDA had funded in the past, using the funds in the 280 account and the 633 account, and then taking a deeper dive at the work session next week into the request for the 5 additional loans that would use separate city funds. And at that time, I would present, trying to forecast a little bit about how much longer we could also fund the housing rebate program.
That program comes out of the
280 fund.
280 fund?
Yeah.
So if we approve this, are we going to have enough money in the fund to cover this year's expenditures?
I mean,
Yes.
yes, we will, because the way we look at these $100,000 loan programs, they're a loan out, and then they're going to come back in when the project is completed. So that's we're looking at it as not having any net effect on the 280 account itself. It's just a timing of when the funds will come and go.
Okay.
Anything else, Mr. Repel?
What do we have in the 280 account? Isn't it only 180-some thousand?
It's 100 and, yeah, I don't have that page open in the document, but.
So they could basically only do one loan or another one for 80, right?
So what, excuse me, what they're actually doing is they're putting the 633 fund with the 280 fund, which comes up to 380.
So they're going to do 3 probably.
Yes.
And that 300 will come back into that account when they build and sell the property.
Along with the sale of the property.
Right.
So.
And Mr. Vetter, maybe to answer your question a little further, I'm trying to scroll down to that page in the agenda. Just off the top of my head, I'm thinking the rebate program for 2024 that will pay in April of 2025, that liability is around $60,000.
Anybody else have anything? I see none. Roll call, please.
Riepel,
No.
Helms,
Yes.
Olsted,
Yes.
Larson,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Vetter,
No.
Pakshavinsky.
Yes.
Motion is carried. Number 17, consider adopting resolution 24-05-41, approving the sale of the city lots to the North Star Neighbors Community Land Trust contingent upon the agreement to be proposed guidelines and grant funding being awarded from Minnesota Housing. Moved by Helms.
Second.
Second by Larson. Questions or discussion? We also do have Mr. Bushy online if anybody has a question for him. So, anybody have any questions? Okay. Roll call, please.
Riepel,
Yes.
Helms,
Yes.
Olsted,
Yes.
Larson,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Vetter,
Yes.
Pakshavinsky.
Yes.
Motion is carried. Number 18, consider adopting resolution 24-05-42, approving the purchase of the Class 400 low-floor bus for the purpose of public transportation services. Is there a motion?
Move.
Moved by Vetter.
Second.
Second by Larson. Questions or discussion?
Just briefly, and I had mentioned it in my RCA, we have many plans where we list out what we're doing for equipment, what we're doing for operating, what other items that we're purchasing, whether it be federal, state, or local dollars. We have what we call a TAM plan, which is a Transit Asset Management Plan, and a TDP, which is a Transit Development Plan, where the buses are listed in those. We look at parameters such as number of years of service and number of miles. We have 4 buses currently in rotation that we own. One is from 2014, 2016, 2018, and then we have like a Class 700, which is your large bus. And that one was also purchased in that 2016 range. So what you look at is when you're looking at the smaller buses, you're looking at 8 years or about 200,000 miles, which we will exceed when we go through this order. So when they look at our TAM plan and our capital plan, and when we do our applications, it was a 4-year capital application, so they take what we have in our plans, and then they look to see if they can pay for them or not, or how they're going to pay for them. And by they, I mean the state of Minnesota. Typically, they pay for them with state dollars. They also get an influx of federal dollars from a different agent, different district or region than where our federal dollars come from, so they don't really know how they're going to spend those. We were notified in March of this year that they were going to fund our 2024 bus. And then I had forgotten to bring it back because I had not realized that they were going to fund it until March. And then, so we're at the point now where they're ready to sign the contract. This is a good deal for us. Buses, the cost of buses has gone up substantially since COVID. And right now, the state has an influx of dollars. So they're matching it at a 90% state, 10% local. So it's a good deal for us. Next year, when we apply, we may go back to an 80-20. So I want to make sure that because this bus is due to be replaced and we've met that 8-year mark and we've met the 200,000 miles, that we get that ordered. As far as our local share, that will be budgeted in 2025 because buses take somewhere between 36 to 40 weeks if we're lucky. So by the time we get it ordered, we'll be late into this season. If we see it at all by the end of 2025, I'd be happy. So. And then we will have another one that will come due in 2026 that we're hoping to apply for to get the grant funding in 2026. So.
Mr. Helms?
Thank you, Ms. Ellis. I wish the city had the money available that the transportation has. That'd be wonderful. We wouldn't have any issues. Seems like they got a lot of money. Didn't we just get a new bus just recently?
We did. We did for the 2014 bus that was ordered in 2022. So that one, we've replaced the engine and we've replaced the transmission just to keep it long enough for this new bus to come. And while we were doing that, our 2016 one is now the one that we receive funding for. So by the time we get it, we'll be well over the 200,000 miles and past the 8-year. So we're kind of now starting to replace our buses again. So we'll go through, 2022, 2024, and hopefully 2026. Then the large class 700, that one is, I think, a 12 or 13 year. So we won't be looking to replace that one until probably 2030, 2031.
Well, one more question.
Yes.
The funds on for these transportation, these riders, does any of that come back to you? Or is that all kind of just run in as maintenance costs and whatever else, you know what I mean?
You mean in terms of like our revenue?
Yeah.
So fares and what NCTC pays?
Yeah.
That comes off of our operating service contract.
Okay.
So when we receive our operating service, what they do is they take, and it's involved, but we have a cost allocation model. So we determine how many buses are on the road, we determine how many miles each bus travels, and then we determine how many hours, and we look at a percentage. And that also includes UND, and then Grand Forks, and now East Grand Forks. And so then they take the percentages of those times what it cost the year before, so they can get a dollar amount, and then that's what they charge us per month based on a number of different things. We also have indirect costs that are added into that, and that's administration. So where we've noticed a change is that now we have a cost allocation model for both dial-a-ride and fixed route, whereas dial-a-ride's administration was in our fixed route before. So we have a much cleaner bill right now. It's just that it takes a lot of effort on our part to see, the number of miles, the number of hours. We look at peak vehicles. We look at different things. And I think that now we are at a 9% of the overall cost of service for that city's area transit does. Then what they do is they determine however many East Grand Forks riders are, because now they purchase online for a majority of their fares, so we can track that. And then they subtract those fares out of our total cost bill.
Thank you.
Anybody else have anything? Not roll call, please.
Riepel,
Yes.
Helms,
Yes.
Olsted,
Yes.
Larson,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Vetter,
Yes.
Pakshavinsky.
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Thank
Move
you.
on to claims. Consider authorizing the city administrator clerk treasurer to issue payment of recommended bills and payroll.
Move.
Moved by Helms,
Second.
second by Vetter. Any questions or discussion? Roll call, please.
Riepel,
Yes.
Helms,
Yes.
Olsted,
Yes.
Larson,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Vetter,
Yes.
Pakshavinsky.
Yes.
Motion is carried. Mayor Gander.
Well, this is our first meeting since we had our State of the City event, and so I want to take a minute and just, first of all, thank all of our city staff that worked so hard to make that happen. I won't even start naming because I'll forget somebody. Thanks to everyone who participated in the event. I also want to say thanks to Jason for being such a good sport. He showed up in a couple videos there. If you haven't seen those, by all means, check it out on YouTube. Thanks to the Chamber that runs the whole thing through. Thanks to Livewire, who does a very nice donation toward making it happen. And so, yeah, if anyone hasn't seen that, go ahead and check it out. It is really a good way for us to hold ourselves accountable to the plans that we make and as we go forward through the rest of the year. And again, a lot of you supplied information to me of what showed up in that event. It's not just stuff that I pulled off the top of my head. So thanks to everyone also who supplied the information I needed to bring that together. So again, thanks for a great event. And now we have this year to see if we can accomplish some of those things. Thanks.
Mr. Vetter.
I don't have anything, thank you.
Mr. Pakshavinsky.
Nothing today, thanks.
Mr. Riepel.
Nothing, sir.
Mr. Helms.
A couple things. As Ms. Helgelson said, Teresa is going to be well missed. She was a spark plug over there. We have some really good people on that library board that work together and it goes good. And I would like to invite people to go on the library website and check out what's going on over there because they have a lot of activities going on over there this month. They do a lot of stuff. I don't think a lot of people even know what happens there. So please go on the website and check it out. And she would be more than happy to have you to show up. So
it's also on Facebook.
Yep. And I had something else, but it wasn't important, I guess. So thanks.
Ms. Peterson.
Nothing, thank you.
Mr. Larson.
Nothing to add, thank you.
Mr. Hudley.
Nothing today.
Mr. Golfstead.
Old age.
Nothing at this time. Thank you.
Mr. Emery. Anything from the department heads? I see none. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
I remember what it was. I want to thank the council for listening to us today from the Heritage. I knew we couldn't do anything about it, but we just wanted to voice our frustration a little bit on it. So,
entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move
by Helms.
Second.
Second by Vetter. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. Meeting is adjourned.